Hey guys, welcome back. Christmas is now over, so you know what that means? That's right, it's time to return to the wonderful, peculiar and often cursed world of Halo Reach modding. You guys absolutely loved the last one, and I want to thank you all immensely for all the support that you showed on that video. It honestly blew me away, so, you know, a promise is a promise. Today, we're diving into a whole plethora of Reach mods, ranging from epic, to cursed, to... I don't even know. I'm just gonna let you guys see it for yourselves. So again, I will ask that if you want to see more modding videos like this one, then please consider leaving a like and also a comment, and if you're new around here, then maybe consider subscribing as well. But let's waste no time and jump right into the good stuff. Starting off with a massive group of mods created by Soul the Pupper. These are all, in his words, weapon mutations. Heavily modified versions of existing weapons that look, sound, and function in very, very unique ways, and I'm going to test them all on some test subjects who the Arbiter has ever so kindly provided to us for our, scientific research. Yeah, scientific research. I promise you that no split jaws were harmed in the making of this video. Okay, maybe a few were. The link to download all of these weapons can be found in the description, as with all the mods in this video, and a link to Soul's install tutorial for these weapons is also in the description as well. These are a bit trickier than your typical mods to install, but if you follow his guide, then you'll be fine. So, our first weapon is a custom DMR of Glory. As you can see, this bad boy has a nice teal sort of chrome paint job to it, a night and day difference to the regular DMR. But that isn't the only way it differs. Soul describes it as a love child of the DMR and the BR, and as such, it fires in a 2-shot burst, with 5 bursts required to kill. Now, I don't have too much to say about this one, to be honest. It's probably the most vanilla of all the custom weapons that we're going to be showing off here today, but, you know, I figured I'd get it out of the way first. Secondly, the Olympia, a personal favourite of mine. As you can see, it's a heavily modified Spanker rocket launcher. But why does it have a Greek name, you ask? Well, gone are the days of rocket launchers launching rockets. This bad boy launches javelins. No, not javelin missiles, actual javelins. What he's done is remove the flag from the flagpole, load 4 of them into a tube and force them into the Spanker. What a bloody genius. Honestly though, this thing is stupidly fun to use. Like, watching the javelins go straight through an elite skull looks really cool in a really primitive way, and the knockback effect they have as well only adds to this. If only we could pin the elites to walls with the javelins. Maybe one day. They even have an arc as well, so if you fire from a certain distance, you have to sort of account for javelin drop, kind of. Man, I'd love to try this out in PvP at some point. Next up, the Pretty in Pink, and this one's weird. It's a modified assault rifle with a pretty aesthetic looking pink and lilac fade paint job. But functionally, it's even weirder. So it's an assault rifle with a much slower rate of fire that's also got heavily reduced bloom, but it's now been upgraded with headshot capabilities. Now that means that it functions like any other precision weapon. When a target has no shields, one shot to the head drops them. This is especially effective at range when combined with the reduced bloom. You basically have a fully automatic headshot machine in your hands. Not too shabby. The Prophet's Gaze is our first modified Covenant weapon. Now, as you can see, it's a reskin focus rifle, but designed for those of us who, like me, have always longed for a Covenant shotgun. The Gaze basically mashes together a shotgun and a focus rifle to create this sort of short-range, overheating buckshot-style beam gun. It's weird, so instead of firing pellets from a shell, it emits a short burst of multiple energy beams before briefly overheating. Now, at range, this thing does absolutely nothing, so don't get fooled by its appearance. But up close, if all the beams connect with the target, you're looking at a kill time under 1 second. And a very satisfying one at that. Unlike most other plasma weaponry, the beams fired by this beast do equal damage to both flesh and shields, one of the many incredible unique things sported by this glorified alien shotgun. This is the Rebel's Scowl, and if it looks familiar, well, there's a reason for that. This thing takes everything that made the Brute plasma rifle unique and cranks it up to 11. It fires in slow, extremely brief bursts before overheating, but if all the shots land, it can very easily deliver a killing blow before being briefly vented. However, likely as a byproduct of the high damage plasma rounds, each individual bolt of plasma travels a lot slower than usual, but to be honest, with how much damage this thing does and how bursty it is, you'll only ever really want to use it in close quarters, so bolt velocity shouldn't really be a concern. Okay, so now for the cache. No, not a map made by FMPoon, a grenade launcher so heavily modified it can no longer be called a grenade launcher. The cache is a blue and orange tube that at first just seems like a worse shotgun that for some reason requires 3 reload animations before firing. Seems pretty useless, right? Well, maybe, and I thought it was, until I tried it out on multiple targets. See, what I didn't realize at first was that this thing was basically built to be a 2552 blunderbuss, and my god does it manage that. You can easily take out like at least 4 elites with one shot with this thing, so what it loses in reload time, it absolutely makes back in stopping power. I'm telling you, if the UNSC had given all the armor troopers these bad boys, the Covenant would not have stood a chance at taking Reach. And finally, we have probably the weirdest and most unique of all the custom weapons, the Twofer. Now, as you can see, this thing already looks incredibly badass, and we've not even shot it yet. It's a needle rifle that looks like it's coated in magma, with the metal plating all charred and burnt up, so right off the bat, you know this thing is cool. But when you fire it, things start to get a little bit weird. It's a sort of sniper rifle kind of thing that kills in 2 hits, but it fires these weird holographic rings. I have no idea what these are actually supposed to be, but they look pretty damn cool, and when you kill someone, they create this really flashy sort of vibrant effect. But other than that, I'm completely clueless. This thing is supposed to be a semi-recreation of the binary rifle, so maybe they're meant to be holographic Forerunner rings, Forerunner hologram things, I don't know. All I know is that this thing is probably the snazziest custom weapon I've ever seen. And that does it for the custom weapons. Quite the varied selection, from a blunderbuss to a lava ring holographic sniper to a javelin launcher. Make sure you check these bad boys out in the description. What if the Great Schism happened a few months earlier? What if the Arbiter, when he arrived at Reach with his fleet, had a sudden change of heart and decided to ally with humanity to defend the planet? What if the Brutes turned on the Elites about 3 months prior to when they did? Well, this mod explores that hypothetical. This is Elite Campaign by Cable Instinct, a mod that partially overhauls Sword Base to give it a more elite touch. Now, as you can see, you play as an Elite, the newest member of Noble Team's now updated Joint Human Sangheili Fire Team. Throughout the mission, you'll encounter fire teams of friendly troopers and friendly elites of various ranks hunkered down together fighting against the Covenant, with dropships coming in to provide both Covenant vehicular and also infantry reinforcements, all of which I like to think was sent by the Arbiter himself to help the humans defend this highly important location. Even Noble Team are different too. Cat's now a White Ranger and Emil is a Gold General. But these changes are only the tip of the iceberg. On top of all the visual changes, Cable's also made a ton of gameplay changes that are actually really damn fun. Firstly, the obvious one, the third-person camera is back. Now, if you saw the last mod video, you'll know that this is hardly a surprise when it comes to modded campaigns. Third-person mods really seem to be the wave right now. All the Warthogs have also been replaced by Revenants, which in themselves have also been modified. Gone are the days of the main cannon just being a light Wraith Mortar. Now it fires a sticky cluster bomb that seems far more destructive and is honestly a lot more satisfying to use. The Ghost now fires in extremely fast 6-round bursts, making it far more effective and also fun, but what's even more fun about the changes to the Ghost are the changes made to its boosting. The Ghost now boosts 3 times faster than usual and hits much harder, and holy hell, zooming around the ice shelf in this thing, crushing grunts and trying to dodge rocks and trees is so damn fun. This thing feels like driving a lightning bolt and it shoots like a laser. I don't think I'll ever get tired of it, quite honestly. Granted, it's a little bit overpowered for a light reconnaissance vehicle, but come on, who doesn't love a little bit of overpowered every now and then? And as for the infantry changes, well, there's quite a few there as well. You now spawn with active camouflage, which is modified to work like Halo 2's, so now you can actually move and use camo at the same time. Isn't that crazy? The plasma rifle has been modified as well, and has seen a pretty massive buff. It's had a huge increase to its rate of fire, which makes it quicker to overheat, but at the same time, it cools down a lot faster as well, which makes it a far more aggressive rifle that can be used against both shields and flesh equally. The DMR is now a BR, the shotgun now fires high-power slugs instead of pellets, the assault rifle is now more in line with the Combat Evolved iteration of the weapon, among many other changes. This is really a mod that, although on the surface level just sort of looks like a simple biped swap, under the surface has quite a few changes. Like I said in the last video, with a lot of these mods, it's really the small details that matter the most. And this mod proves that. All the little details add up to create a pretty fun sort of what-if type scenario. This is Firefight. Fight what you want. A Firefight mod pack made by 101 Steven 101. Now this does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a pack of various modded firefight modes, ranging from more grounded Covenant firefight, now complete with buggers, to meme firefight. Something that I'm not going to reveal until we get to it, for reasons that I'm sure you'll understand in a minute. So let's look at a few of these modes, starting off with one that I genuinely felt guilty playing, Moa Firefight. Now, we all know by now that Moa burgers are a delicacy in the Halo universe. It's Halo's version of Wagyu or Kobe beef, and this firefight mode is the backstory of your burger. It's literally firefight, but with Moas. You're given an arsenal of incredibly overkill weaponry to hunt down all the Moas on the map and kill them. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt really bad playing this mode. From sniping the poor guys to calling down heavy tonnage airstrikes on a pack of them. Never in my life have I felt so uncomfortable playing Halo before. Play this at your own discretion. I just hope you like your Moa burgers well done. Have you ever wondered how dangerous a Spartan 2 dabbing could be? No? Well, tough. Welcome to Meme Firefight, a mode that absolutely lives up to its name in the most cursed way imaginable. This is a very simple firefight mode. There are two types of enemies. Dabbing George, with the most powerful headbutt in the history of humanity, and the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Spartans. Now, I don't think I can quite describe what this mode actually is. It really is something that you've just got to try for yourself. Because none of the enemies are actually armed, at least none of them have guns, the only sound on the map is either the taunting or aggressive screaming of George. And if you hear him screaming, then my god, you'd better watch all your angles because he's locked on and he's ready for a nutting. Just please, play this mode, please, just so I don't have to rack my brain any longer trying to describe what the hell it actually is. It doesn't make sense. It was never created with any intention of making any sense. Just play it. Just play it. And then there are the other modes, which sounded really cool, but for some reason didn't seem to work. So I tried Zombie Firefight, which admittedly is in beta, and it didn't work properly. I thought it was going to be like super fast sprinting Spartans with energy swords, but it just seemed like brutes and jackals that fired really fast. I then tried Civilian Firefight, which after Game Cheat's mod in the last video, sounded really fun, but just ended up being a Heretic Elites. And then I tried Faction Wars 2, which also sounded really cool. 3 different factions, I presume UNSC, Elites and Brutes maybe, all of which are enemies who fight you, but also fight each other as well. Kind of like Warzone, but without the egregious pay to win and also bullet sponge enemies. But that didn't work either, and so finally I tried something more vanilla. I tried Fight Them All, which sounded just like a regular firefight mode with every type of NPC from humans to Covenant, but that didn't work either, which does suck, but you know, the 2 modes that I tried that did work were alone worth a download. Never in my life have I feared the dab until now. And for today's final mod, we're taking a look at a total overhaul of what is arguably Reach's most somber, emotional mission, New Alexandria. The Covenant are laying waste to one of the shining beacons of Reach. The city is a war zone. Troopers and civilians are trapped in hospitals and business towers, pinned down by a ruthless enemy who knows no mercy. And Noble are still mourning the loss of one of their finest, a hero who gave his life, thinking that he just saved the planet he so loved. It really is a solemn mission, one that could be seen as the turning point of Reach's tone and atmosphere from one of hope and prosperity to one of despair, failure, and loss. So, let's curse it. This is Meme Alexandria by Captain Cola 5, a mod that takes the dark, depressing tone of New Alexandria and completely destroys it with some very insane, stupid changes. Let's start off with the more vanilla modifications. Every weapon now fires extremely slow-moving projectiles, some of which, notably the UNSC weapons, also fire explosive projectiles as well to guarantee maximum carnage. Sprint has been buffed, and massively. It's my worst nightmare. Now, I don't know what Noble 6 had for breakfast, but now he moves like lightning, and furthermore, he can even control himself perfectly in mid-air for maximum control and efficiency. Who needs thrusters or Spartan charge when you can just put Spartan augmentations in your cornflakes? The pistol now shoots swords because, of course it does, why wouldn't it? And the sword itself is now basically a sniper, but also a sword as well. It has a massively increased lunge range and can make you fly better than Red Bull. Lunging from drone to drone even puts Halo 2's sword to shame. You can basically fly with this thing. There's something really satisfying about it. And then there's the vehicles. We have the Falcon, which is normal, refreshingly normal. The same, however, cannot be said for the Banshee. In the description of the mod, it says that the Banshees boost so fast that AI will kill themselves and have to respawn. And I think that comment wins the Understatement of the Century award. This thing zooms. I mean, it zooms. The enemies look like shooting stars flying around the city, which looks very strangely beautiful in a really weird way. And when you get in it and try and fly it, you end up looking like somebody who has no idea how to fly a Banshee because, well, I mean, who the hell could actually control this thing? Expect many a suicide when trying to operate this bad boy. And finally, the cherry on top. Using a drop shield now spawns a cart. Fairly vanilla, right? Yeah, well, it is until you drive it. The cart now flies like a faster pelican. This is now my headcanon for what Noble 6 was flying throughout the wreckage of Alexandria as he was flying around saving the troopers and civvies and escorting Buck. He wasn't flying a fully armoured Falcon, nor was he flying a Pelican. He was flying one of those carts that you see at the airport. It turns out that prior to Noble Team, Spartan B312 was not carrying out highly covert assassination operations for Oni. He was, instead, mastering the art of cart flying. Who would have guessed it? And so, those are all the mods for today. Don't forget the link to download all of them can be found in the description if you want to give them a try for yourself. Just remember to follow Soul's guide for the custom weapons if you want to install them. They are a little bit trickier to install than other mods, but as soon as you get the hang of it, then you'll be able to do it really easily. It was at the point where after I installed one of them, I was doing the rest of them just without even paying attention. It really is that easy. So, I want to give a massive thank you to all of my amazing patrons for the continued support over there. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for such a damn good 2019. I really do appreciate it. This year for YouTube has been absolutely spectacular, and I have all of you guys to thank, so thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great new year, and I'll catch you all in the next decade, which feels incredibly weird and incredibly wrong to say, but yeah, catch you all in 2020, the year of Halo Infinite.